Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are gonna be continuing the module short story narrations for the various operators in Arknights. Today with the one for operators Ceylon. And as always, we're gonna take a look at the short story first and then we shall take a look at what the module upgrades for the operator. So, let us proceed. The module and the short story are titled Field Researcher Equipment. And this is how it goes. On a hospital corridor bench, a student reading a book sits side by side with a middle-aged woman of professorly airs. Next to them, a distressed-looking worker anxiously mumbles to himself. Peter Davis. A doctor steps out, test results in hand. The worker, whose name has now been called, tensely lifts his head. The student shuts her book. Elevated BOCD. No signs of oropathy. Ceylon Doikos. Elevated BOCD, no signs of oropathy. The three let out a collective sigh. See? The student starts to tell the other woman in excitement. I'm fine, Professor. More like you're lucky, the professor replies sternly, shaking her head. I've warned you two before. Outdoor investigations are to be carried out within stipulated safe regions during designated times and proper protective measures have to be taken. Without specialized protective gear, coming into contact with highly activated originium is exceedingly dangerous. Moreover, we have no right to extract ore from the mines. The mines can hold you liable for anything you've done. Ceylon, you're supposed to be a model student. But I want to verify the theories I see in my textbooks, and besides, if I hadn't warned Mr. Davis and the others to halt their work, there would have been an acute infection incident. I couldn't... What if you'd judged wrong? Ceylon stops in her tracks. After a moment, she droops her head. Sorry. I'm not expelling you, but you will have to retake this course, says Ceylon's professor as she gets up from the bench. It was only your first field outing. Be mindful of properly protecting yourself in the future. Once the professor has left, only then does the mine worker nervously move to say a word of thanks. Thank you for saving us. I don't know if we've burdened you. Your professor sounds like she thinks you did the wrong thing. Oh, not at all, Ceylon replies with a smile. I know what my professor thinks. She just has to teach me these things as part of the course. I need to know fear and the worst case, and I have to weigh whether the responsibility is something I can take. It's when I learn all that I can truly make my own choices. And that would be our short story. Pretty much Ceylon by the numbers. And funnily enough, for those of us who have read the Adele short story, pretty much Ceylon's mother by the numbers at the same time. As they say, the apple does not fall far from the tree, right? But mentioning the Adele short story, if you are someone who has not had the opportunity yet to go through the Adele short story, where there is quite a significant piece and background information on Ceylon and her family inside of that, I will leave a link to the entire playlist, which is both narrated and voice acted just like this little short story was, in the description and both in the pinned comment down below. So take a gander and see if you like it, if you have not had the opportunity yet to go through it. And if you want to know more about Ceylon, she did also have a operator record attached to her, which I will also link in the description and pinned comment, so enjoy. But for now, let's proceed and see what the module does. And before we do that, let's see what the traits and talents are for our operator. So she's a medic, so the trait has a large healing range, but the healing amount on fodder targets is reduced to 80%. Now I want to stress that, not to confuse anybody, it is not reduced by 80%, it is reduced to 80%. If we count her normal healing amount as 100%, everything on the furthest edge of her healing range is only 80% of that. And also, what does that mean? What is the barrier? Essentially the entire outside edge. So everything on this edge that I'm going over with the mouse right now is the outside range that it has reduced healing. Anything pretty much close to her, so the 2 tiles on her left, 2 tiles on her right, and the 2 tiles right in front of her are at normal healing capacity. Everything else on the outside border is reduced by 20%, so to 80%. Now, her one and only talent is Lake Walker. Simply put, it's a attack increase of 6%. The extra 1% that you're seeing here in blue in the brackets is coming from imprints. It also says when there is water terrain on the battlefield, the effect instead becomes 24% plus attack. So instead of the 6% attack increase, she will have 24. Again, the 6% blue is coming from imprints. Now, what do we get from the module? First and foremost, we gain one additional trait, which is twofold. Part 1 is she will gain status resistance. As a reminder, as always, status resistance does not mean status immunity. It just means that statuses such as stun, cold, freeze, and similar will have halved time on her, which means she can cycle quicker out of them. And the second part of this trait says becomes less likely to be attacked, which is very nice, meaning that any kind of ranged unit that has range on her and can hit her might not be deciding that quickly to attack her, but instead pick any target that is closer, or rather also in range, either next to her or right in front of them. But anyway, it is a very nice trait to have, especially on a medic, because they need to survive. Anyway, also from the module, just by the base rank 1, she will gain plus 5 resistance and additional attack. I'm bringing up the 5 resistance here because when you look in here, it does not tell you that. But anyway, how does her one and only talent get upgraded? On stage 2, the basic attack value will go up to 9%, and if there is water terrain present, it will go up to 36%, and on stage 3, the basic value will be 12%, and the upgraded value will be 48% if there is water present. So essentially, if you are using her, especially if you are using her around battlefields that have water tiles on them, she will have quite the significant increase to her attack. Now, for me personally, I will probably just leave her on rank 1, considering I use her very sparsely or mostly in modes like integrated strategies when I pick her up, or in very specific situations because of a very specific thing that she has, and that comes from her skills. Just to mention, skill number 1 is essentially a chargeable skill, which has quite the huge boost to it when it hits, or when it has to be deployed, and it also is not reduced if she is using it on the aforementioned outside edge of her healing. The second talent is a manual skill. It will last 30 seconds, boost to attack, and it also heals one additional target, while everybody who is inside of her attack range, so inside of this entire huge box that she can hit, all those allies inside of it will gain status resistance. So that's why I said I sometimes use her, and it's mostly for pretty much that, to have statuses be in a reduced capacity on my operators. But yeah, when it comes to her module, if you're someone who uses Ceylon quite a lot, this is quite the upgrade, especially if you're using her on water fields. But I would also say there are probably healers you might have on hand that just do a better job, or higher fields. I mean, we just had Fiala's Ultra release, so you know. But then again, like I said, if you're using this operator a lot, this might be quite the upgrade for her. But then again, it's up to you to decide. For me, the module will probably stay for the time being on stage 1, which is pretty much enough. But yeah, anyway, this will be it for this video. Thank you very much for listening. If you like this video, please consider leaving a like on it. It would help me out a lot. If you're new to the channel and want to hear more of these stories for not just the modules, but also, like I just mentioned, full stories, both narrated and voice acted, they are available on the channel. Have a look, consider subscribing. And if you want to support me and my work more directly, there are also memberships on the channel, and as I always say, there will be no video ever behind a membership paywall. It is purely there just to support me, my work, and the channel, so thank you very much, and thank you for the members who are already there. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.